Hey, welcome to Vanlife Hustles. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Susie.
We are doing a brand new channel on van life cooking, everything van life in general, harnessing our cats for van life travel. Come and join us for some fun. That was a long pause. I was expecting you to say it. Okay.
Hey, it's Van Hustles.
That was pretty good, actually.
So you need 1.5 cups of flour.
1.5 cups of flour coming up. One. And a half.
And you need 2 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder.
Okay, so let's have a look. That says half a teaspoon. So that's a teaspoon. Okay. So how much of this?
2 1/4.
1, 2 1/4.
Okay, and you need a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, or just a pinch. You can grind some in there. You need a 1/2 cup of sugar.
Save on the washing up. 1/2 cup of sugar.
It's got golden syrup. I don't understand why it has like more sugar in it.
For the sponge.
In that separate measuring cup, I
Right.
would do 2 large eggs, beaten with a whisk. You need 6 tablespoons of milk. So go ahead and start adding your milk to that beaten egg so you can set that aside.
6 tablespoons? Well, these are dessert spoons, so I'm going to do 12. Got plenty of milk left over for coffee.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the wet ingredients.
So you got your dry. So you're going to need 7 tablespoons, which is about, would you say 98 grams?
98 grams.
So half of that butter. Get a knife.
And I'm just going to use the spoon that I use for milk and just wipe it off. So. And then I'm going to wash my hands. About half.
Yeah, I would say so.
And that goes in there with the dry mix.
Dry ingredients.
Just going to wash my hands.
Okay, you're going to rub it.
And first of all, it's quite cold, so I'm just going to break it into little bits.
Here, there we go.
So basically, with this, you're making like a crumble mix.
Yeah, exactly. Is this your second time making this?
Well, it's my second time making steamed syrup sponge pudding since my mum used to make it for us as a kid.
No, but that time we did in the house, though.
Yeah, I couldn't get it out the bowl. But this is the first time we've done it in the van. So it'll be interesting.
It'd be interesting to see how it comes out. I bet you don't get it. I mean, because you're just using steamed water, really, to cook it.
Yes, but you've got to vent the steam from the van, because this is half an hour of boiling.
The soap should help it.
Oh no, it's gone. It's just because it's cold.
Yeah.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
John.
John who?
John the Baptist. Okay, so first things first, we need to measure out the parchment paper and the tin foil that is going to go over the top of the bowl, because I can't do that once it's greased. Then we're going to grease the bowl. Then we're going to add the golden syrup to the bowl. Then we're going to make our batter mix. Then we're going to put that all in the golden syrup sponge bowl. And then we're going to start the boiling process and turn the fan on so we don't rot the van out with steam. Okay, so that's the next bit. It goes paper side down first on the bowl, so I'm just going to do that like that. Doesn't matter if I do way too much, because we need it to go all around the edges so that you can tie it on. So I'm just going to do it like that. Now the thing with the tin foil is we're going to do two anyway, because you need to fold it in the middle in a certain way so as it cooks and expands it spreads. So it's not too, it needs to be tight, but it needs to be able to go up as well. So let's just put that there for a second. Two of those, and then we're going to join them in the middle. So with those done, pop them to one side for a minute with the parchment paper, ready for when we actually put everything on. Now I'm going to grease the bowl. Really easy to do. I'm going to use this parchment paper that the butter was wrapped up in. I'm going to take a whacking great lump and I'm just going to put it all the way around, so keeping my fingers clean.
Just don't go overboard with the syrup.
Oh,
like you did last time.
But it's good with syrup. So anyway, just tuck that away. Pop the butter back in the fridge in a bit. I think. So how many spoons of this are we going to add?
8.
8 spoons. But what we're going to do is we're going to put it around the edges so that it flows down to the top. So when the batter mix is put in, it's got a nice filling of drippy, syrupy, golden syrup at the top. But it's also got a nice bit around the edges. So 8 spoons. Whoa.
Pure sugar.
Right, so wet mix is done, bowl is done.
Yep, so basically you're going to just take your wet ingredients and pour it into your dry. And keep in mind with this pot with the batter in it, it's going to be reused for the bowl to be set in.
Yeah, so we'll wash that.
Yeah. Talk about one pot. This literally is one pot.
Okay, so now we're going to mix the wet with dry.
Yeah.
That was previously prepared, and make our batter mix. Do you want to lick the spoon?
No.
Okay, so I am going to do this to get the whole sides done because it pulled really quickly. I thought it was colder than that. I thought it would take a lot longer to sink to the bottom, and it didn't. Let's get our batter mix in the bowl.
Yeah.
This is the best part. Let your kids lick the spoons. Right, so the next improvement we're making in the van is a proper plumbing system, which will make washing up a lot easier. So this is also the biggest pot we've got, as we've said, so we're going to have to do an A-team or a MacGyver and make something out of nothing when we come to put the pot in. Okay, so we have our sponge mix, we have our pan. You need something fireproof to put the pot on in the bottom of the pan so it doesn't burn your sponge. So that goes in the pot, and then once we've done the paper on the top of that, water in there, pot in there, boil it for half an hour, and then it goes in the Wonderbag for 2.5 to 3 hours. So what we're going to do is we'll get that ready.
So you can see the baking powder is already starting to activate.
Yep. So that's the paper, and then we need 2 of the tin foil on top. Now what we're going to do with the tin foil is join in the middle. We're going to join 2 because they're thinner than the greaseproof paper. And what we're going to do is we're going to fold it in the middle. We're going to leave it like that, and then what will happen is as it heats up, it gives it room to expand like an envelope. Find instructions on how to do that on YouTube. I'm trying to do that really fast. How many times we've done this with like spotted dick and stuff like that. Yeah, so that then goes on top of your pan. So maybe I'll have to do a separate tutorial for that. It's just so that envelope there will expand as the sponge gets hotter. And then we've got to tie it up. It has to be very tight, so that the water doesn't get in. Scratch the edges. Got my string. Pop that through. And then once that is all the way through, that's a really long bit of string, but this is quite thin string. So I'm going to pull it so it's tight, and then I'm going to wrap the excess around. And then the little end of the loop there is where you can tie a knot. Just a granny knot, it doesn't have to be anything spectacular, it's just to make sure that it doesn't come off while it's cooking. There we go. Cut the string. So now that is on there nice and tight. Greaseproof paper or parchment paper goes on first, that's so that your sponge doesn't stick to it if it rises really high, and then the tin foil, and then tight as you can, seal it around the bowl. That way the water doesn't get in while it's boiling. Now we just need to boil some water. Now this is a half-hour boil to kickstart the baking process before putting it in a Wonderbag. So we're going to put the fan on full, have the door cracked open, and then boil water for half an hour. So yeah, the max fan's going to be on full blast so that we don't get too much condensation, and we'll see how it goes. So catch you in a minute. Cover the whole top with tin foil to keep the heat in once it's in the Wonderbag, because if I put it in just like that, all the heat's going to escape out the sides. The bag probably won't keep the heat in all of the time, and this will just act like an additional lid to keep all that steam inside, I hope. And If worst comes to the worst, we might have to find somewhere to go and stick it in the microwave. You've got to work with what you've got, right? Vanlife hustles. I've never actually seen MacGyver.
What?
I've never actually
You've never seen it?
No, ever.
Are you serious?
I'm serious. It must have been an American thing. I don't ever remember it being on UK TV. We had Chips. We had Chips. We had the Incredible Hulk. We had what else did we have? The A-Team. I don't ever remember MacGyver, and it was in the 80s. Started in 1985 according to Siri, and I was still a teenager then, believe it or not. Right, okay, so there's my MacGyvered lid. We're now going to put it in the Wonderbag. We're going to leave it in the Wonderbag for 2.5 to 3 hours to completely cook. Okay, so I can feel the heat coming out of there, so we're going to pop the lid on. We need to give this a bit of a wash. They are washable. Just stick them in the washing machine. They're even tumble dryable.
Tumble dryable?
Tumble dryable. they're even tumblerable. Is it tumble? You can do them in the tumbler. You can do them in the tumble dryer. You can wash them on just a normal wash. Again, this one was donated to us by Lynn. And I did say it was going to become my favourite toy. That half an hour of butane for another 2.5 to 3 hours of cooking in the bag. So fantastic. What's for lunch, curly tots?
Stir fry.
What sort of stir fry?
Well, we've got a leftover packet of chow mein, so I'm going to use that.
Chicken chow mein stir fry.
Yeah.
Followed by steamed syrup
Dessert.
sponge pudding with custard.
Powdered custard.
My foot's burning. That diesel heat is on full.
Yeah, I did that myself the other day. I mean,
It was like, ooh, that's hot.
yeah, literally, if you stand right in front of it, it'll burn your ankle off.
Yeah. So let's get this cooked up and then go and have a pint while the steamed syrup sponge is in the Wonderbag. There's people outside. This is a great little Parkup actually. We should put it on park for night for people.
It probably is. Have you checked?
I haven't. Are we vloggers then? You want to vlog about your beautiful hair? And talk about the product that you used. Do you know there's a woman on YouTube and all her YouTube is about is hair products for women with curly hair.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's her niche.
Yeah. Honestly.
That's her niche.
If you had a glimpse inside my head, you'd know I'm different than you. What works for you might not work for me, 'cause that's our solid ground. I'll build a life that helps me thrive. I hope you're doing the same. Through my eyes I see different than you. grow. Genius takes many shades. Truth is, we all need to open our minds. Normal doesn't exist.
Cool. So we're back from the pub. Had a nice pint in the bar. And so we're going to take it out of the bag. And I'm guessing it might have cooled off a bit as it's cooking. So it doesn't say this on the recipe, but I'm going to put it back on the hob just for 10 minutes. Actually, wow, that's super hot. It's still hot.
I told you it would be, and you're like, no, I'm going to put it back on the hob.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we just serve it up then. The water is still hot. You can still see the steam there. My MacGyver lid worked. Thank you. Still actually warmer than I thought it was going to be. I should be able to get it out of the pan. Oh, like so. Awesome stuff. And this is where we're going to have the moment of truth. Remember, I tied it up quite tightly. It's actually tightened up as well. So I'm going to cut the string. Now, well, it looks like a sponge. Oof.
Oh, wow, look at that.
Okay, so,
Oh, you're going to need a plate.
yep, I'm going to grab a plate.
But first.
And a couple of bowls. That's a lot of syrup. Oh.
Yeah.
Chip that bad boy out.
Oh my god, I can smell it as well. The sponge.
So that is Van cooked steamed syrup sponge pudding.
You probably could have doubled that recipe for that bowl.
Probably could have. I'm just gonna. My mum made it once, and it just went.
Did it really?
It did. Oh, was that jam tart she done that with? Yeah. Underappreciated jam tart it was called.
Is that what she called it?
Underappreciated.
Did she
jam
call
tart.
it that? Underappreciated jam
Yeah.
tart.
Jam tart and custard, and it became known as underappreciated jam tart. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to scrape out the remainder. I'm going to use the hot water from the saucepan to rinse that out. Make custard. Custard. Make some custard for my unappreciated golden syrup sponge pudding. Let's just say it says boiling hot water, but milk will make it thicker. So,
Well, I hate just add water, like pancake mix and stuff. It's like, it doesn't taste right, especially if the water is metallic-y.
what we're going to do is we're going to put some milk in there. Bring that to the boil.
Custard before.
Have you not?
No.
You used to the Devonshire cream custard.
To be fair, I've never had custard.
Really? Never had custard at all?
It doesn't really need it.
It doesn't, but it's just nice to have like a a sauce with it, but you're right, I think there's slightly too much golden syrup. I mean, it tastes nice, and it's cooked.
Tastes lovely. It tastes just like the one that you made in the house. The texture spot on.
That's very good. Do you know what we're going to do next time? Sticky toffee pudding.
Yeah, see?
Ooh, sticky toffee pudding. Another van life cooking win. Love it.
That's not bad, Andy. That's pretty effing good.
That's really good. That's coming from someone who doesn't like desserts.
No, I don't.
I'm gonna have seconds.
Because like, for us, we can fit like 4 people in here.
Yeah.
And if you're having like friends over, this would be really great dessert to do. It took like,
as long as your friends aren't diabetic.
or on a diet.
or
dieting.
Or gluten free, because that wasn't gluten free.
No.
So it's no good for celiacs. But you could make it with gluten free.
I don't see why not.
That was very good. I'm definitely having seconds.
That's really good because you can like do a 1-pot meal. It doesn't even have to be in the Wonderbag. You use the Wonderbag for the dessert and create like a 1-pot meal on the camping oven.
Yeah.
That's really nice. Do like a nice stew.
Do you want seconds?
I'll have another.